Over the past couple of years or so, there's been a huge rise on the internet of collecting and keeping physical media. Gen Z, especially, is trending towards going back to DVD, vinyl, CDs, and all that other stuff. And I think it's beautiful, honestly. Obviously, I'm pretty biased here. I collect CDs, DVDs, books, and games, so of course I'm gonna think it's awesome. But why is it happening? Hi, I'm Jack, I ramble, and today I want to talk about physical media. The main reason that people are going back to physical media is, ironically, the thing that replaced it. Streaming services suck. There's like a billion of them, and they all charge way too much, and you have to get all of them to see the shows you want, and they still show ads sometimes. I'm already paying for this, come on. Streaming services like Netflix came in and wrecked the market by saying, hey, you don't have to get up off your lazy ass to go to the theater or Blockbuster if you want to see a movie, we'll send it to you. It was an objectively great service that eventually everybody copied. And it makes sense, right? It's convenient, easier, cheaper, in theory, and I can watch my favorite shows whenever I... Wait, where's Boss Baby? It was here last week. What happened to Boss Baby? Yeah, streaming services have a lot of drawbacks. Aside from cost, ads, and canceling all the best shows, there's a lot to complain about. For one, I think streaming has made movies and shows worse. There's this concept called second screen, where streaming services expect you to be scrolling on your phone while watching something. So they can't make their plots too complex or subtle, or else you'll miss it. So you'll have characters give the same exposition multiple times, or you'll have very simple plots that are easy to follow when you're on monkey brain mode. Think the live-action Avatar adaptation. Avatar adaptation. That's really hard to say.
The Avatar. The one person with the ability to master all four elements. The Avatar. The next master of all four elements.
Only the Avatar. The one person who can master all four elements.
Only the Avatar. Master of all four elements. But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
When the world needed the Avatar the most, he vanished.
Which is so fucking stupid. First off, if you're watching something while scrolling on social media, go outside. You can't sit there and need that much dopamine constantly. Nah, go on a detox, go stare at a wall, that's not healthy. To which I know exactly what you're thinking. Jack, you always have a YouTube video playing. You can't go outside without listening to music. What kind of hypocrite are you? Okay, true. But I'm special. I have ADHD, so I'll often produce music or play a video game while watching something at the same time. Hell, as I was writing the script, I was binging Andy King videos. But that's just because of how my brain works. I imagine my head is like a constant audio recording. There's stuff at every frequency, low sounds and high. The important stuff is up here, and everything else is distracting. A show or a song or whatever cuts out the lower frequencies, which helps me focus. I can only hear the higher frequencies, or thoughts, when I'm blasting some tunes. I'm not talking about people who need those accommodations, we'll call them. I'm talking about the people who have Pavloved their own brain into needing that quick hit of dopamine all the time. Second off, why are companies adapting to that? Don't cater to people who aren't fully engaged with your platform. Don't pander to people who are only half paying attention to the media that you're providing. This is sludge content at its finest. Also, shit just disappears from them all the time. One of my favorite shows ever is Community, and I love rewatching it every so often. I used to rewatch it on Netflix because it was on there, but then one day it just vanished, so I had to go get Peacock so I could continue watching it. But then, I keep getting kicked out of my Peacock account because they think I'm password sharing, which brings me to another issue. Streaming services, especially Netflix, have cracked down on password sharing these past couple years. And I think it's fucking stupid. I'm not sharing my password all willy-nilly. My parents are just divorced. I move around a lot. Randomly something will pop up on my phone saying, hey, it seems like this account has been accessed from a lot of different places the past couple weeks. We're gonna shut that down. Okay. Frick you, man. I mean, originally, one of the main sticking points for these streaming services is that you could watch your shows whenever and wherever you want. But apparently not, because I keep getting kicked off my own account. Next time I want to rewatch the best sitcom of all time, I'll probably just buy a DVD of it so I can actually own it. Also, in general, if you don't have great internet, streaming services are just a no-go. At a certain point, you're not watching Scooby-Doo, you're just watching a slideshow. But on DVD, you have guaranteed quality. unless it's scratched. Oh, but you can download stuff on Netflix. Okay, tell them that, because every time I try, it either doesn't work or expires in 3 seconds. There's also the old physical versus digital debate on game consoles. It's so convenient when you can just download something. And it's better for the companies who make the consoles because A, they don't have to worry about producing a box and a manual and an actual disc, which costs money. They can just focus on the game. And a cut of the game sale doesn't go to like Target or something. So many companies have pushed for this to be the norm that some companies straight up offer consoles with no disc slot at all. All that sounds pretty great. Just stay inside and have access to every game ever. Well, you can't exactly stream a game in the same way you can stream a movie. I mean, you can, but like, should you? There's always going to be input lag, and way more if your internet isn't pristine. So good luck if you're trying to play a precision platformer or a racing game, because everything you do is going to be delayed. So when you get a game online, usually you have to download it. Games aren't exactly JPEGs. They're these huge open worlds full of like character AI and scripts and data all running right under the hood. By the simple fact that you're playing it, actively changing the outcome, look, and location, games have huge file sizes. Some are definitely worse than others, but generally you're going to be buying some pretty big games. If you downloaded, say, Ark, you'd be using up to 250 gigabytes of storage. For reference, the Xbox S has 500 gigabytes of storage. That's half. Now, you shouldn't be playing Ark anyway, but if you use a disc, it'll take up way less space. On your console, that is. In real life, not so much. And don't tell me to buy more storage. I'm not giving Microsoft more money. Did somebody say something about buying things? That perfectly and not at all stiltedly brings me into my second point. Late-stage capitalism sucks. The last thing people need is another streaming service. The last thing people need is to give more money to Disney or Netflix or any of these other disgustingly wealthy, evil companies. And Gen Z is most consistently aware of this. We're disillusioned with these horrible conglomerates and we don't want to give our money to them anymore. Disney underpays and overworks its VFX artists that leads to shit like this. They all sell your data to companies, and there was a whole writer's strike about how poorly they treat the people who produce the media that you consume. I, for one, hate these huge oligarchical doofuses controlling our lives, so of course I'm going to derive more of my entertainment from physical media that actually pays its artists Spotify, and also from YouTube where creators are more highly valued. Love you, YouTube. And of course, I would never advocate or take part in pirating something that I could otherwise watch on Netflix. That would be horrible and illegal. So definitely don't do that. But okay, let me take a step back. I don't want to come off as holier than thou in this video. Yes, I listen to CDs. Yes, I primarily watch YouTube. But I also watch Netflix. I have Spotify Premium. And Peacock, and Apple TV, and Amazon, and Mac. I can't sit here and say, how dare you watch Hulu when I'm also doing that. The point I'm trying to make here isn't that you should never use a streaming service a day in your life. It's that, for me at least, it feels good to take a step back and pretend for a second that my life isn't being controlled by billionaires. I know it makes more logical sense to condense everything down to the internet. I usually use my phone for things. Furthermore, there's a lot of drawbacks to physical media. It's slow, energy intensive, and can be really expensive. It also takes up a lot of space. I don't know many people who would be fine with taking up that much real estate just for something they could have in the palm of their hand, especially if you're confined to one room like I am. I'm just trying to say that I think physical media is fun. So, last reason I like it, physical media is cool. This is just kind of a silly reason. I'm aware of how subjective this is, but when I see somebody out with a Walkman, or I see a DVD menu, cool. There's like this ritual to it. You gotta get the CD out of the case, pop open the top or whatever of your CD player, put it in, close it, press the on button, and press that play button. You get to press buttons here. Then you crank up that knob, the volume knob. There's an actual knob. There's a knob. And then there's that little second of loading. You can hear the disc spinning before it actually plays, that little second of silence. And then, oh yeah. Oh yeah. It elevates the experience, genuinely. Like actually doing something rather than just tapping on glass. Maybe it's just me, but there's something about opening a book, about actually flipping through pages, holding paper in my hands, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel way more connected to a book than just reading it on a Kindle or something. Like, I think you have to let books breathe in the original format that they were supposed to. For instance, I tried reading Last Kids on Earth on an e-reader. Those books have a lot of intricate, labeled pictures with little jokes and fun exposition on them. I liked poring over these pictures and just breathing in this world. The style is so gross and goopy and extremely unique. It's fun to see. It really adds to the world building and the character of these books. The pictures were too small to read or really make out any detail on the Kindle. Or what about extra content? Going back to CDs, almost every CD comes with a little booklet that expands on the vibe of an album. It could be extra pictures or lyrics or text that fills out the experience. That's a cool insight into the CD. Or what about special features on DVD? They're cool. I love behind the scenes stuff, bloopers, outtakes, just goofy shit like that. A lot of Harry Potter DVDs had a whole extra disc in them just for special features. That's an undeniable commitment to quality. Playing the disc, you can see why they made it its own thing. It's like a whole game on DVD. At most, on streaming, you'll get a trailer. Yay. There's also something fun about being stuck somewhere with just like one DVD. I know way more about Star Wars 3 Revenge of the Sith than I ever thought I would. It's also just partially nostalgia, I understand that. And I know it's weird to hear someone like me talk about nostalgia. I mean, my voice hasn't fully dropped yet, but I grew up with CDs and DVDs. On long car rides, you know I was busting out that portable DVD player. My mom had a 21 by Adele on CD, and she would play Rolling in the Deep constantly. Side note, I'll shit on pop music almost every day of the week, but if you come for my girl Adele, we're fighting. But even watching previews, which are literally just ads, gives me this certain sense of warmth. So, literally just nostalgia. I also think this falls in line with decorating trends. Millennials, by and large, tend to go for minimalism, while younger people are trending more towards maximalism. Look at any teenage girl's Pinterest board. Sorry, that's redundant. Look at any Pinterest board. It's full of cottagecore-esque farmhouses filled to the brim with plants, bookshelves, bright colors, trinkets, and comfy chairs. Like, so many paintings and decorations you can barely see the walls level of maximalism. And what's part of that? Having a bunch of physical media strewn all around your house on racks and cases and bookshelves. It's eclectic. There's also one more thing I want to touch on. I saw this video.
Today we're talking about how economic cycles impact the way you dress. Let's start in 2008. The market had just tanked and people lost everything. The future looked bleak and people turned to the past. Ed Hardy, layered polos, and flashy designer belts of the early 2000s were out, and flannels, salvage denim, and Red Wings were in. These clothes were sturdy, stable, and built to last. And they reflected exactly what people were craving: security. Since 2020, consumer confidence has plummeted and uncertainty of the future is in the driver's seat. And just as a crying child clings to their blanket, we've clung to nostalgia. All of these superlatives at their core scream stability, history, and security.
This is Editing Jack. I'm just popping in to say, I didn't say this in the video, but that TikTok was from Nickthrowsafit, or Nick Fashion History on TikTok. He makes a lot of great stuff, so you should go follow him. And even though it's about fashion, I think it can pretty well be translated over to what I'm talking about. Things are scary right now. There's always a new apocalyptic event happening. An Avengers-level threat won the election and is pumping out executive orders like an evangelical family pumps out babies. And we have like 6 years until our effects on the climate are irreversible. So I think some of that want for security translated over to the want for physical media. I own this. I can use this whenever. You can't take it away from me. I can feel this and hold this, and there's a sense of warmth and safety to that. I really, really love the trend towards physical media, and I hope it continues. There's no way to support an artist more than by buying a CD of theirs rather than just streaming their album on Apple Music or whatever. And I think it's great that we're sticking it to these capitalist overlords by not feeding into the subscription mindset. And honestly, I think there's a lot of charm in actually owning what you consume for good. So go get a record player, go buy some books, and go watch a DVD tonight instead of Hulu. But before you do that, give this video a like if you liked it, comment something related to the video, and subscribe to me for more pretentious rants about bullshit. Ta-ta!